afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What the Why with Barbara Ann. If you haven't seen our show before, we feature conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured things out. Maybe you're feeling sick and tired of being sick and tired, or you're just sick and tired of feeling stuck and you want to get unstuck, whether that's in your business or your job or even in your personal life. One thing that all of our guests have in common with you is that at some point in their lives, they felt similarly and they decided to do something about it. And today is no exception. Please join me in welcoming Michele Molitor, with lots and lots of initials behind her name, your executive confidence coach and rapid rewire expert. Michele is the founder and CEO of Nectar Consulting Incorporated and co-author of the best-selling book, Breakthrough Healing. Michele works with executives and entrepreneurs, bringing over 25 years of experience, intuitive insights, and strategic business savvy to your success. Her unique rapid rewiring, trademark, approach is a culmination of years of study in emotional intelligence, neuroscience, organizational psychology, and rapid transformational therapy. She helps catalyze shifts in thinking and eliminate mental emotional blocks to rapidly rewire people's brains for greater confidence and success, enhancing their leadership capacity to build high-performing teams and exponentially increasing their bottom line results. She's provided executive coaching training, leadership development, organizational development, and rapid transformational therapy on a global scale to individuals and entire organizations in public and private sector industries. And she's helped organizations revitalize their teams, enhance emotional intelligence, and create strong cultures of positive communication while infusing them with clarity, purpose, and greater productivity. She received her coach training and certification. She's a CPCC from the Coach Training Institute, and her professional certified coach designation, PCC, from the International Coaching Federation. She's a certified rapid transformational therapy practitioner and a certified hypnotherapist. She earned her Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Florida in advertising with a minor in psychology. And she's also studied French linguistics at La Sorbonne, University of Paris, France. Did I get that right? Okay.
You did.
And has a degree in graphic design from the Art Institute of Atlanta. She's a licensed action plan marketing consultant, a certified talent dynamics consultant, a certified True Score assessment partner, and she's also a nationally recognized speaker, coach, organizational development consultant, trainer, hypnotherapist, and writer. Suffice to say, her passion for helping people amplify their natural talents and expand their leadership is conveyed through all aspects of her work and writing. And she's co-authored 3 books, Breakthrough Healing, A Guide to Getting It, A Clear, Compelling Vision, Bite-Sized Tips for the New Entrepreneur. And she has been published on CNN, Self-Growth, Life Hack, The Mogul Mom. And she's spoken at numerous conferences, including the IEEE Leadership Conference and the Society for Human Resource Management Leadership Development Forum. But importantly, her company, Nectar Consulting, is also a certified B Corp, showing that she cares about everything, including sustainability. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Michele Molitor via Zoom to our show. So, yay! Hi, welcome.
Hi, Barbara Ann. Thank you so much. I didn't expect to read the full bio, but thanks.
And the funny thing is, that wasn't even the whole bio. That was even excerpts from the bio. So, with having said all of that, and you have done a lot, as you know, our guests know that we always start off asking every guest, now that we've run through a portion of your life, what did you, Michele, as a child want to be when you were growing up?
Well, originally I wanted to be a veterinarian because I love animals. I'm a bit of an animal whisperer, but then I got to chemistry in college and we didn't get along so well. So that changed things. So psychology became my path. So here I am, kind of full circle in the end. It's all good.
All right. And so you decided to pursue psychology, and then you had a pivotal moment. So tell us how you got to the point now where you are your mind detective with Nectar Consulting.
Sure. So I had a 10-year career as a graphic designer and a creative director in web development. And that was really fun and exciting, and I really enjoyed it. It's what brought me here to the San Francisco Bay Area 20-something years ago now. And I was busy building my team there and made some key hires. And two of the folks that I hired made it very clear they didn't like working for a woman. They didn't like my management style. Who knows exactly what it was, but essentially I got bullied out of my job. And it was a very painful moment, and it left my confidence kind of in a puddle at my feet. My sense of value and worth was really pretty shattered in that moment. And it led me to coaching.
Wow.
And in the process of being coached to figure out, gosh, what do I do now after that really not so fun experience, I kind of stumbled my way into my life's purpose and passion. And so I pivoted my career and became a coach after getting trained and certified, and added a bunch of letters to my name, and started my business in 2001. So I've been coaching and training and guiding people for many, many years now. And that works both individually and with organizations. And then, gosh, I guess it was 2016. Again, I seem to stumble my way into the thing that is more and more of my true essence and my life's work. And I discovered a process called Rapid Transformational Therapy, or RTT. And it's a particular way of accessing your subconscious mind to help get at the root causes of things. And so I very quickly knew wholeheartedly that this was the next level of mastery for me, and added that to my set of tools in my toolbox, and have incorporated that into my work. So my rapid rewiring approach is a combination of both coaching, positive psychology, neuroscience, somatic work, energy work, so many different components to it that really creates for a holistic, whole brain transformation for my clients.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And you know, it's interesting because your story is similar to that of so many women in terms of pivots, and kudos to you for finding your way into coaching to get the help that you needed, and then deciding, wow, this is what I'm going to do. This is my new purpose. In terms of how you were able to do that, I mean, becoming an entrepreneur is its own challenge. Where did you find the courage to make that transition from the steady paycheck, so to speak, to being your own boss?
That's a great question. Probably because I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My parents are coming up on their 64th wedding anniversary, and they've been business partners for most of that, right? I'm very, very blessed to have them. They're still with us. They're in their 80s and doing great. And, you know, I grew up watching all these different businesses unfold, and my brother and sister both went to work in the family business. And when it came my turn, I pivoted and was like, no, thank you. I'm going to go to France, be an au pair for a while. I'll see you in a little bit. But, you know, when it came time, that catalytic moment of, you know, getting bullied out of my career and discovering coaching, to me, starting my own business seemed far less daunting than handing my resume to anyone at that point, because my confidence was so badly bruised. The fear of rejection was off the charts. And so I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll just, you know, do what there is to do, and I'll, you know, figure out all the steps along the way, which is essentially what I've done. And I've had a lot of help and guidance from some amazing teachers all along my path that I'm very blessed to have.
Yeah. And I was going to say, you know, what do you think are, you know, some of the most powerful things that contributed to, I mean, because you were at a very low point. And I could easily jump in the box with you myself, as can so many other people. But through coaching, you found your strength and your courage. And now you get to do that with others. If you could please explain a little bit more detail, because you definitely have what we now kind of call trauma-informed level of approach. But it's so much more than that in terms of what you do. So if you could delve into your approach and what makes you different, that would be really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally love what I do, and I'm excited to be able to serve people in this really unique way. Because after coaching for so many years, I was a little frustrated, quite frankly, because coaching works at a conscious level, which is only 10% of your brain power. And so when I discovered hypnotherapy, it is a way of accessing your subconscious mind, or 90% of your brain power. So by working with folks, I'm able to help them get into a very relaxed alpha brainwave state. It's a state of mind we go to every day, right? You know, when you're driving from point A to point B and you're thinking of all the other things on your mind, it's actually a form of alpha brainwaves, right? Or when you first wake up from a nap and you're not quite ready to move, you're in that really relaxed place. That's where I take folks. And in that place, you're able to access the contents of your subconscious mind. And I'm just having a conversation with someone at that deeper level, helping them to get at the root causes of what's causing their blocks, their frustrations, even some of the chronic physical ailments people have been dealing with show up because of the beliefs they're holding about themselves. So typical beliefs that cause these bugs and blocks in your system, in your programming, if you will, are, you know, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I don't belong. And when we hold those beliefs at that deeper subconscious level, your brain's like, okay, those are our instructions, so we will move through life according to those instructions and those rules in order to stay safe. And so by rewiring those beliefs, literally building new neural pathways in the brain through repetition, you're literally able to change your mind, right?
Yeah.
And change your mind in a way that empowers you both consciously and subconsciously. Because here's the thing, at a conscious level, you can say, I am worthy, I am enough. But if your subconscious mind doesn't believe that, your emotional body is like, no. Remember, mom or dad or somebody did this thing to us that said, no, you're not enough. Then that will always win, because it's more weighted, right?
Yeah.
So by changing it at that deeper level, you're able to embody those new beliefs much, much more quickly for long-lasting, transformative results.
Awesome. So believe it or not, we're at time for the commercial break. So when we come back, I definitely want to talk more about your approach, as well as the somatic coach and your books. So audience, please come back after this brief break for our sponsors for more with Michele Molitor on What the Why. Welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann, and today's very special guest, Michele Molitor, who is beyond amazing, but she's your mind detective, and she is the founder and CEO of Nectar Consulting, which is a B Corporation. And as we were heading into the break, we were talking about all of the different modalities, and what's really interesting is the first time I was actually became aware of Michele's work through a group that we participate in actually has to do with work that she does around imposter syndrome. For those who aren't familiar, because we actually haven't touched on this on our show previously, what is imposter syndrome?
So imposter syndrome is an overwhelming kind of nagging feeling in the back of your brain that says you're not as good or as talented or as capable as everyone else perceives you to be. So you're filled with self-doubt, and we all have self-doubt, and sometimes many people have twinges of imposter syndrome, but it's when it becomes persistent and consistent, that it can really take you down the rabbit hole and creating anxiety, depression, overwhelm, perfectionism, lots of other things that can come from it, that are unhealthy, both personally and professionally.
Yeah. And, I know you have actually, I will even use the term thought leader in this area. So what was it in the greater scope of all that's going on that led you down this path of helping those who are struggling with imposter syndrome?
Well, my experience of getting bullied in my corporate career created a massive case of corporate PTSD. I was finally kind of able to put a label on that years later, and realize that it also is what triggered my own severe case of imposter syndrome for many years. And even as a coach, in the early days, I spent a lot of time researching, like, what gives someone confidence and other people a lack of confidence. Because I could look at, my brother, we grew up in the same household. He's, always been super confident, and I wasn't. And that event that happened to me really just like magnified it 1,000 times. And so as I, did my own healing work to regain my confidence and to step more boldly into my authentic self and my talents and gifts, I saw how often that's the case for many, many other people. And over the last few years, it's become quite the buzzword, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've done a ton of research on it, and have given many, many talks worldwide about overcoming imposter syndrome, taming it, and what's the underbelly of imposter syndrome. And what I found is it's really the polite kind of external word for the deeper level of self-doubt, right? No one likes to go around, I'm filled with self-doubt, hey, right? You can go, oh, I have imposter syndrome. People are like, oh yeah, right? But when you boil it down, it comes down to self-doubt, and I've identified these 5 self-doubt archetypes, and each one of these are triggered by different life experiences that people have, and so I like to think of the 5 self-doubt archetypes as kind of like the love languages of self-doubt, right? Because we all have it. Okay. So understanding what self-doubt archetype is your main driver will give you greater awareness, and with awareness comes understanding, and with that understanding comes a way to reclaim your power around it.
Wow. So what are the archetypes?
I thought you might ask. So there's the procrastinating perfectionist, and these are our friends who are going to procrastinate and overwork something until it's perfect. Because if it's not perfect, they're too afraid to put it out for fear of being judged. Right?
Who told you? No.
What?
Who told you about me? No.
Right. This is one of my personal favorites, right? The second one is the shapeshifter. And these friends are masterful at juggling multiple roles just to please others. They'll put on different masks to fit in. They're like a chameleon and will fit into any situation because it's a trauma response, particularly for folks who have had like narcissistic caregivers in their lives. They just, don't know which way they need to behave in order to stay safe. Mm-hmm. We have the third one, which is the reluctant resistor. And these are friends who are too afraid to be seen or judged or rejected for their work. So they're reluctant to take on new challenges for fear of failure, right? Okay. Then another personal favorite of mine is the anxious avoider. This one took me a while to overcome. Those who are scared of being rejected, for not knowing all the answers, right? So they don't ask for help. I'll just do it all by myself, right? This is how I started my career as a coach. I'll just figure it out and do it all by myself, right? Because then I can't be judged and I can't be rejected. And then the last one is the fearful follower. These are our friends who will follow other people's advice despite their own gut intuition going, no, 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 don't do that. Go this way versus that way. But they don't trust themselves enough to follow their own gut instincts. And so they constantly are kind of hiding out in the shadow and not letting themselves shine fully for their brilliant genius that they naturally have.
Wow, wow. And to your point, like you said earlier, you know, so many people don't even recognize on a subconscious level how this is being fed. So how do you apply what you do to these different archetypes to help people break through and find a way to navigate forward?
Absolutely. Well, as I said, awareness is the first step, right? So when you start to identify the flavor of self-doubt that's holding you back, then you can start to mitigate it. You can start to unravel the pieces, the ideas, the beliefs that you've been holding about yourself that have been keeping that self-doubt kind of stuck in place. And so through my work, my one-to-one work with clients in particular, we're able to kind of dig a little deeper in a way that is safe, is easy. It's not about reliving old events in your life, but it's just like noticing, like, oh, when I was 6, I came up with this idea about myself because of this event that happened in my life. But I'm not 6 anymore. Okay. I'm older than that. And maybe I can change my mind about it and choose a new belief that harnesses my energy and empowers me and moves me forward versus a negative belief that can very quickly take you down the rabbit hole and leave you feeling really crappy about yourself. So identifying that and then literally telling yourself new thoughts. Right? You always are at choice, Barbara Ann, right? Yeah. Do you want to choose the negative thought that makes you feel crappy, or do you want to choose the positive thought that maybe makes you feel a little better and feel a little more uplifting? So it's always about choosing to change your mind.
Yeah, and it sounds like this is where both the somatic coaching, but also really the rapid transformation and the hypnotherapy can really be helpful. In helping delve into these experiences that people have had.
Yeah, because anytime in our life's path when our dignity is violated, right, it leaves a mark. When we feel not seen, heard, or valued, whether we've been dismissed or our dignity has been destroyed by someone's comment or actions or behaviors, right? That leaves a mark in our nervous system, right? And then your amygdala, the fight, flight, or freeze mechanism in your brain takes copious notes, right? And I call her Amy. Amy's your amygdala.
Oh,
Amy just wants to keep you safe and alive and on the planet. And so Amy's like, oh, wait, no. Remember on, December 4th, 1972, this happened and it wasn't safe. So let's not do that again. And so you will literally unconsciously zig and zag to avoid those kinds of situations or anything that looks remotely like it, right? And so by understanding those root causes, then you can start to reset your nervous system with new empowering beliefs that quiet that gut reaction that you have and literally change the channel to a new one that feels much better.
Wow. Which, believe it or not, we're at time. So I know we didn't get to our books. I do want to remind that our audience that your books include a best-selling book that you co-authored called Breakthrough Healing. And you also have other books that you've written as well. And if anyone wants to connect with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, you can always find me at Michele Molitor.com. I'm sure this will be in the show notes somewhere. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Instagram at Rapid Rewire. So happy to always have a complimentary and confidential consultation for those who are curious about how to heal their hearts and quiet their nervous system and have a more joyful life personally and professionally.
Awesome. And for our viewing audience, definitely worth having the conversation with her. All our guests are amazing. She's very, very amazing in her very specific approach in terms of how she does things. So thank you again for joining us and sharing both your pivot as well as your journey to the expert that you've become. So, as for our upcoming guests, you really don't want to miss any of them. We're booked through the end of season 1 or season 2, and we are coming back for season 3. And guests that we have coming up include business owners, some additional coaches and authors, tech experts, entrepreneurs, a professional skier, and others who overcame seemingly insurmountable challenges. Please believe me when I say you really don't want to miss what any of our upcoming guests have to say about their journeys. And if you have missed any of our past guests, you can check out what they had to say by catching all of seasons 1 and season 2 to date on the on-demand page for What the Why of RVNTelevision.com website. You have so many viewing choices these days, so thank you very much for watching our show, and please tell a friend or colleague about us. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and Mondays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and is also available on demand through RVNTelevision.com and Roku, and coming soon to additional platforms. And also, please remember, whether you're looking to make changes in your life or career, no matter how big or small, please join us again for more inspirational and illuminating conversations with guests such as Michele, who overcame some significant challenges that were laid in her path, navigated those obstacles, overcame the fears and the imposter syndrome that she was experiencing to find her purpose in life and to live it.